Ever wonder if it's something you should do, even though you feel like something within you says to go ahead and go for it? I have been sitting here for a bit deciding, do I record this? Do I not? Am I sharing too much? Or will it land? And I decided I'm going to open the door and I'm going to put myself out here for just a little bit and I'm going to share it. And at first I thought, it was where I was sitting. It was uncomfortable. So I changed where I was sitting. I adjusted the things around me where I was sitting. And I still feel uncomfortable sharing this. But I'm going to. It's this vulnerability that I'm going to release. And I don't know if you've ever felt this kind of thing or not, but this is what I've been dreaming of what I've been setting out to do. And it's really to share all the behind the scenes of how I am creating my business, my way of being. It goes beyond business. It's an entire way of being. I don't have a separation between work and everything else because for me, it all flows together and there's so much more ease when I'm not trying to separate it. So I'm taking a deep breath. Hi. I'm Trisha Edwards, and I am a 6-2 generator with emotional authority. And this is my emotional wave in process. And, but it's something I've actually been thinking about for a while. And, this has been a project that I've been working on for a while. It's not, things don't move fast when you're a generator. We have a lot of energy. We can make things move fast, but oftentimes when I go too quickly, I'm saying yes to things that's not really mine. I'm creating things that just become work, busyness, extra steps that are not needed because I was so wrapped up in the moment of it being so exciting. And yes, I want to do this and I want to put all of everything into it. Only to later on regret that I did it. Feel like, oh wow, I'm really over efforting. I overpromise. I don't want to deliver this. I'm not interested anymore. And maybe those are not all 100% true, but they come in waves and they feel like it. And so, yeah, one of my things is to just be really honest about how, I want to say life isn't easy, but it is. This is how you get more ease in it, or at least this is how I'm getting more ease in mine. And so I want to share with you what I'm building because I set out a goal for this week on YouTube to do one new YouTube video that was about what I am building, the behind the scenes, and not to show the resolution because it won't be done. The mess in the middle. And this is it. This is me right now. I am building something to allow, I guess it's a funnel. I guess it's a filter. I don't like any of those words. I don't like the marketing, salesy business words. They don't relate to me. They feel of ick. And also I lack understanding on a deep energetic level with them because I see force. I see coercion. I see convincing, persuading, pushing, pulling, tugging, shoving. Like I see it go all different kinds of ways. And I'm just like, what is going on here? Not for me. And it's been a real struggle for me because I decided when I started this, I knew that I was starting it in the spring of 2023. And I said, you know what? I'm going to love business as much as I love what I do. And I think part of what I did was in the effort of learning all of that, something I'd stayed away, and I don't regret this at all. Like, I think it's a good thing. But I think I started internalizing it as I have to be whatever the business is, the way that everybody else shares it, because I don't know what it is. Even though that's not true, but that's how I was internalizing it. So anyway, it's taken me on a bit of a journey, and I'm going to share with where I am and what I'm doing right now. This is my 2-line. I'm a 6'2", and my 2-line is somebody who hermits to go and do things in the shadow and to only come out and share it when it feels there's something to be said or something to show. Oftentimes it's shown, demonstrated, rather than it's not a telling, when it feels right. And the thing that feels right to me right now is for when I'm hermiting is to put a window in. So passersby, you can see what's going on. And that feels like the guide I'm meant to be. That's my 6th line. Being the guide, to shine the light in the dark corners without having to tell you the how-to, the step-by-steps of how to do it for yourself, because it's different for each person. And that's the one thing that I realize. And this also lights up the line 3 that's within me, because I have a lot of activations, who likes to tinker and experiment and just see what happens. It's the process. It's not even the goal. It's just, let's see what happens. Let's get an experience. And this is an experience for me. Maybe it's an experience for you. All right. So I decided a few weeks ago, maybe more than a few weeks ago, but a few weeks ago, I articulated it. That's what I'm going to say. That, what if I just make things easier for myself? What if I just give into the ease? And what if this concept of a funnel, something I've been avoiding, tinkering around and not liking, and then retreating, and then trying to come up with something new, this concept of a funnel, which I get it. I am happily in other people's funnels because I like being there. But when you're the one creating the funnel, it just feels icky. Like, who would want to be in this? Like, I needed to figure out how I could change my perspective around this. And this is the story I came up with. So there's a couple things about me. I'm going to read you something. And I am not looking to do the typical marketing things like urgency, limited availability, time running out, those kinds of things. That's not me. I want to have an open door policy. There's always an invitation to come, and you come if you feel like it resonates, and when it resonates, and when it aligns for you. Because that's what I'm all about for myself. When I work with somebody one-on-one, that's what I'm all about for them. And it's to have this self-trust, this self-confidence, this self-leadership, this self-sovereignty. That is what I want for everybody. And so I came up with this concept to help me wrap my head around what a funnel could mean for me. And this is what I'm building. So here you are. You're getting a full behind the scenes. I made this last week over a course of several days. And one of the things that I do for me, I don't know if that anybody else thinks this way, but I write content that's for an audience of just me, audience of one. So I'll write a post, how I write a post to express to other people, to tell them what I'm doing, what I'm experiencing, and if I have an offer, all of that stuff. But I do it to me because one of the things I found is I'm really good at laying out an experience in my writing. And if you follow me on either Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, I have this, at least this is what I've stepped into for the past 4 or 5 months. I finally found my way, and it keeps building and getting better and better as I grow. But it's more of a poetic way. It's more of a narrative. It's more of, let me bring you into the moment rather than give you step-by-steps or tell you what you need to do and stuff. So it's energetic alignment is what I'm all about. So I came up with this idea of the Renaissance Colander because I didn't like a funnel, because a funnel has one spout, one way that you get narrowed down into it. And what I like about a colander is there's lots of ways that you can squeeze out, sometimes from the sides, sometimes from the bottom. You don't even have to wait to the bottom. You can just do it from the top, from one of the holes. And so I like this concept of a colander. And so what I put here is, this is a graphic that kind of represents it, and then I'll read a little story. But the way that I was thinking about the colander is that there's rocks. So these are my attempts here. Let's see, I'll do a little circling here. These are my attempts at rocks. And there are the people who cheer, who support you. They're highly visible. Like, think of rocks. You can't miss them, right? But then there's also these pebbles, these little tiny pebbles that are in here. And they might be people who like your content, but maybe not comment. Maybe sometimes they comment, sometimes they don't. They're really curious. Maybe they're not, at least in this moment, in a full alignment to say yes to whatever it is that you're offering, but they're there. And they fill up. There's a lot of them because they fill up a lot of the spaces. Like the part of the rocks and the pebbles and the sand where it came from. I don't know if you've ever heard the story, like, fill a cup up and you're given rocks and you put it in there. Is it full? Or is it not full, and then you put pebbles in it, like, oh, is it full? Is it not full? And then you find that you can put a bunch of sand in it, that it's really this combination of everything that makes something full. There's always something extra that you can add to it. And you can even go finer than sand and bring in water and some other things in it. But this is just where I went with. The rocks are the ones who cheer you, who, the ones who read your post every day and support you. Even though they'll never be a customer, they like being in your orbit. That's all, just good people. And then we have the pebbles, and they're the sometimes curious. And then we have the sand. And for me, this is where I find I align best in who I help. It's not limited to this. It's just, like in fashion, you have this core customer and you make everything for that core customer. But there's all kinds of fringe customers, people on the outside who still buy into it, who have an element of the core customer. And they come in too. But you got to have a focus, and it helps. It really does help. And so this is my focus. I don't like the general using like demographics and psychographics. That stuff just doesn't, it's so outdated in my opinion. Maybe it works for some businesses, but it doesn't work for mine. And because it doesn't matter what your income level is, doesn't matter what your job title is, it doesn't matter where you live, it doesn't matter, gosh, so many of those things. It just doesn't matter. But I know that I relate well to a lot of people who are like me. And because I really think about a lot of the stuff that I'm doing is a result of the things I've worked through that I didn't have a guide to help me, or I might have had guides to help me on certain parts, but I have to still bring it all together because that is the journey, everybody to bring it together. But I can offer up those things that took me 5 years to learn. I can offer it up. So maybe it only takes somebody, 3 months or a year to step into, as opposed to my 5 years. Or even if it takes 5 years for that other person, they at least have some kind of map that they can start with. And they don't have to follow my footsteps, but they can see where my map went, and that might help them to create their own map. And so the sand is the generator, ones with emotional authority. They have a line 3 movement to them. So they may not have a line 3 in their profile, but that line 3 movement is about experimenting, exploring to discover. I just want to see what it feels like. This seems like it'd be a fun thing to do. It's experiential for the most part. And I think they're 50-50 shadow gate. They're not completely, shadow gift. They're not completely in their shadow, but they're not completely in their gift either. They're somewhere in the middle. And maybe some areas of their life, they're more gift, and some they're more shadow. But, when we balance it all out, they're still looking for something. And they might have that one thing that they're just missing to unlock everything. So sometimes we have that. And I feel like that's what human design was for me. Human design was the thing that unlocked all the other things that I thought maybe weren't working or were not as effective, but human design unlocked them all, so they all work. And I have so much at my fingertips to be able to use. And so I think of myself as the wave. It's a gentle shifting for those who are ready for transformation. And that's the sand. And so it's a real gentle shifting, not a jolt. No one wants that, like that, bro marketing that we're all, no one really seems to, I don't know, maybe some people still want to do that. I don't know. I don't know anybody. Nobody in my circle is moving towards that. They're moving away from it as fast as they can. But this is like gentle. And at the core of everything that I do, it's all about self-trust, self-sovereignty, and self-sustaining. So I'm going to read you my story about this. Because this is what I do. I write myself stories. It helps me to keep it organized and framed, and I can go back to it and I can feel inspired. And I probably have read this, no short of 40 times. And it's probably more than that. And so here I am. I'm going to share it with you. And here we go. A living filter of resonance, a gentle sifting, a rhythmic sorting, a colander held by motion of water. That's me. My business isn't about pushing people through pressure points. It's about movement through resonance. I don't decide who flows through. The design does. The colander holds the mix, rocks, pebbles, sand. Each one enters as they are. Each one has their own texture, weight, rhythm. The rocks show up first. They clink loudly, visibly and solid, supportive, familiar, but they don't move through the holes, and that's okay. They were never meant to. Then come the pebbles. Some slip through, others don't. Some hover, lodge, or rattle briefly before disappearing again. Their shape decides their passage, not me. And finally, the sand. Fine-grained, impossible to grasp individually, yet when the colander sways just right, the sand moves. It flows. It finds the rhythm I've been humming all along. The sand is who this is for. She's transformation ready, shaped by experience and open to reshaping herself. She doesn't always make a sound as she arrives, but when she lands, she stays. I am the water beneath it all, not the filter, not the force, but the current. It's my gentle sways that create space for the sand to find her way through. It's my undercurrents that create the resonance, the vibration that loosens what's stuck, the rhythm that invites movement. How I define, how I speak to the core, how I reveal myself fully and honestly, how I infuse every offering with my own energy, motion, and truth. That's what moves the sand. Not by pressure, but by presence. And once she says yes, she steps into the current. It's here, in my waters, that she experiences more of my flow. I carry her gently from shore to shore, from landing page to the inner studio. From the inner studio to courses, mappings, and one-on-one sessions. She doesn't stop being who she is. She remains her sand, fine, whole, unmistakably hers. But the movement changes her relationship with herself. In the fluidity, she finds cohesion. In the immersion, she discovers new norms, or new forms. Castles of self-trust, bridges of clarity, pathways to her own rhythm. She doesn't need to become someone else. She simply gathers herself differently into something truer, something freer, something more attuned to her oneness. Now, this is what I'm building. I am building a landing page that is going to be an invite into what I'm calling the inner studio. And the inner studio will be free, and it will be a space that has it'll be a window to my hermit mode, to my personal studio. It'll be a window to that, to see all the behinds, the workings, the going-ons, the tools, everything that's there. And there'll be things that you might see on YouTube or on LinkedIn, but everything will be organized. And there'll be other things that you won't see on YouTube and LinkedIn. And it's a way for people to come off platform into my world where there's no extra distractions yelling at you, away from the urgency, the pressure points, the pain points, the scarcity marketing. And it's a place to be, even if you're just curious. It's doors are welcome to anybody who is interested. And then from there would be options if you decide you wanted to step further, if it made sense for you to, if you had your full body yes into it and the timing was right for you. They're there, but it's more of they're there and doors are open. The invitation is out there, but it's not a pressure. This is about expressing outwardly, decompressing, than it is coming into a container and feeling confined. And so this is my note to myself to help me to see the players that are involved. All of these, the rocks, the pebbles, the sand, they might end up in the inner studio for different reasons. And I want to welcome everybody, no matter who they are, whether they're there for whatever the reason is. And so that's why I've kind of laid this out in this way. It's more of for me to help me to see how things could be or are, or the way that I would like for them to be. I'm not exactly sure on that. I'm going to let you fill it in. And, you know, I don't teach business. I'm just going to make that clear on here. But this is how I understand business. This is my way of thinking, and it reflects my way of doing things, no matter what it is I'm doing. There's always a little bit of imagination, a little bit of creativity. There's always a little bit of body tuning into it. And there's always some human design mixed in here. Now, I'm going to share the rocks, the pebbles, and the sand with you as well, because I did a little bit about each one of these so that I could, you know, really see who these people are in the way. And if you find that you are a rock, a pebble, or a sand, you can reach out to me and you can let me know I'm totally the rock. And here's why I think that I am. That would actually really increase my understanding. I would love to know if you think you're the rock, the pebble, or the sand, and for whatever reason, why. I think that would be really cool to find out. So you can comment, or you can send me an email, or whatever you want to do. That's entirely up to you if you choose to do that. If you're going to send me an email, it's hello@creativeextension.com. And I'll make sure that that's in the transcript, or put it in the description box so you can have it. But I just like to know, or I'm over on LinkedIn. You can just DM me and I'd be happy to talk to you, or even on Instagram. I'm on Instagram too. Okay. So the rocks path, witness without weight. She arrives loudly, not in volume, but in presence. You see her. She comments, claps, nods along from the sidelines. There's something comforting about her consistency. She might say, "Oh, this is beautiful," or "Keep going. You've got something special." And she means it. But she does not move. She is formed, solid, well-shaped in her own story, perhaps even proudly so. She doesn't ask for more. She doesn't seek transformation. She simply wants to be near the glow, to be reminded that light exists. She won't pass through the colander, not because she's wrong for it, but because she's right where she is now. She's right for where she is. You used to coax her through, to crack the surface, to show her what she's missing. But now you don't. You let her sit at the rim. You let her watch the water flow. You let her be a witness, not a weight. Her gift is visibility. She makes you feel seen, even when she isn't ready to see herself. And when you stop trying to change her, she blesses you in her own quiet way. Some rocks erode over time, but most stay steady. You no longer wait for movement. You honor the stillness. And so if you're a rock, thank you. Dang, I appreciate you for being around. And I know that I have plenty of awesome rocks in my world. But for the pebbles, the almosts and maybes, she touches the rim and rattles. She tests the weight of your words, feels the vibration of your presence. She doesn't always know what she's looking for, but she knows something here feels almost right. One post lands, one sentence pierces. A part of her says yes, another part hesitates. She is many small truths held together in a scattered mosaic. One pebble fits the colander's holes, another sits too wide, still another bounces off the edges and disappears. She might download the thing, say yes to the one-off offer, dip into the inner studio, then drift. It's not a rejection. It's resonance that doesn't fully root. And that's okay. You no longer contort to keep her. You let her graze and go. Because sometimes one of her pebbles will slip through. The piece of her that's aligned, that's ready, that needs just a glimpse of your current to ripple something awake. And maybe that one glimpse becomes a memory. Maybe a memory becomes a magnet. Maybe next time she returns with more of herself in tow. Or maybe not. Either way, you let her move at her own angle, her own rhythm, her own readiness. You bless her in her in-betweenness. Not because everyone is meant to stay. Some are meant to be stirred. And I know I have some of those too in my world. And I appreciate you. If you feel like you're a pebble, I just appreciate you. That's, what? I can't think of anything clever or witty or anything even super heartfelt other than just, dang, I appreciate you. Just be your pebbles. And then the sand. Her journey through the colander. She doesn't crash in, she drifts. A glint in the current. A pause between scrolls. A flicker of what is this. At first, she doesn't know why she stays a little longer, why her breath deepens as she reads, why her body, not her mind, is the one saying yes. She doesn't feel pushed. She feels seen. It's not the words alone, it's the tone, the softness that mirrors her longing, the steadiness that says, I'm not here to fix you, I'm here to reflect you. And so she begins to sift. No force, no frenzy, just subtle movements that invite her through the holes, post by post, phrase by phrase. She doesn't realize she's being sorted. She only knows she feels safe enough to keep coming back. She lands, not with a bang, but with a breath. Her yes isn't loud, it's full-bodied, a quiet joining, a sacred arriving. And once inside, the water takes her further. Not to change her, but to carry her, to show her how she's always been whole, always been enough, always had everything she needed, just scattered like soft grains across a beach. And now she gathers. In your ocean, she discovers cohesion, new formations, wider rhythms. She builds castles from her own sand. She touches the parts she once ignored. She lets the current move her into herself. And all the while, you, the water, are simply being, flowing, honoring, witnessing. And so this is how I'm thinking about my process and what I'm going to be leaning into. And this is going to be the thing that I'm going to invite people into. The way that I envision it is there's a post, it goes to a landing page that has a video of me just, I guess, talking about me, and an open door to come and join us in the inner studio. And if you really want to make sure that you know about it, I'm hoping soon. This is April 2nd. I'm hoping in 2025. I'm hoping that soon I will have it open. I don't know if it'll be this week. It might be next week because I'm really following my flow, my rhythm, and I'll know the moment when it's right because I'm going to have that full body yes. I'm going to be like the sand where I just, this is it. And that's what I encourage. That's what I want for everybody. So I'm treating myself like my favorite client. And I'm giving myself the space that I give my clients. When I work with other people, even if they're not my client, the space that I give others, I'm giving it to myself. And I know this is so close and almost ready. And I'll be sharing it.